Hey y'all, it's Jack and Eileen. Today we're going to be running Eileen through a workout. She is very deep in her pregnancy right now, about to pop any day now. We are in the go zone. So hopefully today you guys can pick a couple tips away from our full body workout we're going to be doing at 36 weeks of pregnancy that you can apply to yourself or to anybody you may train. So if you guys got any questions after the video, please feel free to drop them below and enjoy the workout. So before we do Eileen's workout, honestly any workout, you should have some sort of a warm up. For her, it's gonna be a little more targeted than maybe somebody else towards just controlling her breathing in her midsection since she's starting to get so big. Trying to find some motions that just prepare her midsection for load, moving under load is gonna be super important. So we start off with some bird dogs, we move into a hip flexor stretch just to help open up the front of the hip, which can become tight with pregnancy. That round ligament there can get tight and cause pain. She also does a lot of sitting for her job. So moving just this hip through some hip extension while keeping that stomach as braced as possible is gonna help open up the front of the hip and provide just better mobility and honestly comfort as she progresses further near the end here. One thing I like to coach on when we're doing hip extension, hip flexor stretches through hip extension is contracting the back glute. If we can create contractions in this glute over here, that's gonna help actually open up the front of the hip, okay? So a lot of people, they just kind of arch and lean through it. I want you to think about ribs down a little more, trying to drive your hips through, contract that glute to help open up the front hip with more of an active contraction. And when we have a more active contraction, that actually creates in the muscle just a reduction in that tightness and tone. So it actually helps open it up because we contract the opposite muscle. When it comes to hip thrusts, hip extensions, it's obviously something that's a little bit harder to train in pregnancy. So we do just an unweighted glute bridge just to create some hip extension moments, just because she doesn't do that much in her day. And obviously with the amount of sitting she does, low back pain can start to happen, she can get tight in the front of the hip, etc. Plus just a little bit of just keeping those glutes engaged just to maintain some sort of strength and muscle there. When we're working in the length and range on things like leg press, we will hit that muscle, but I think every female and really everybody should do some sort of hip extension, at least as a warm-up after long days of sitting. The final component of our warm-up usually has some sort of moving through an actual range of motion, especially for her lower body. She doesn't need quite as much warmth for the upper body, and we just want to be a little more efficient with it, so we stick to primarily midsection and lower body kind of activation work, if you will. So I like to have some sort of an actual motion that integrates some of the things we were just activating just before this to see how it's flowing together. And if she has any other pain points or movement deficiencies we need to address in the workout. That foot's definitely a little more wobbly. Try to point that down a little better. There you go. Big toe, pinky toe, heel, arch up. Cool. So we're gonna start with upper body. I just, when it comes to total fatigue accumulation and workout, if you're doing something like a full body, Eileen's so pregnant that she doesn't have a lot of energy capacity at this point because it's all going to training with life. So we like to start off with upper body. That way she's not as drained. If we did legs right off the bat, she'd be too smoked to have an efficient, effective upper body workout. So we'll start upper body, move into some lower body. Yep. Okay. All right. Grab on handles. Okay, what I want you to do here, set shoulder blades down, pull chest up the best you can. Create pressure through your palm, just enough where you grab tension on this delt and pop it off the bottom. And once you grab that tension, roll up through it, okay?
This is so heavy.
This heavy as machine. Yeah, this machine's heavy as fuck. Okay, come on up. Okay, so set shoulders down. Good, okay? Shoulder blades on, lats on, pressure in palms, catch at the bottom right here, now drive up and through. Try to sink through just a little bit more. There, good. 2. Down. Down. That's heavy, huh? This machine's a little heavy for her. Yeah. Okay, so we're not gonna add any load. Okay. Does that feel okay though, pain-wise?
Yeah.
Okay. Some machines are just too heavy.
This one's heavy.
Yeah.
It's a good machine.
One thing I like to do on this right here, this is called an N-gauge grip. So these handles for some people might be a little small and kind of drive into their palm, or for some people as well, this just isn't at the right angle of external rotation that they can handle. So these N-gauge grips have actually an angle hole through them. They're not straight like a fat grip. So when you put them on, you can set them at different angles to help adjust for your hand placement to be more internally or externally rotated. So for most people, I like their elbow to sit like 45 degrees off the body. And this handle now is running right about 45 degrees with her versus if we didn't have this on, it would be close, but now it's just a little more tucked in. And I've seen that cause some pain on people's shoulders. So throw this on. Plus you'll have a nice fat thing to press through, which just more surface area contact with the hand will make it less painful to grip. Cool. All right, let's take this to Phil. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna help you off the bottom. Okay, come to the top. Let's go. Set shoulders down, hold chest up the whole time, pressure in palm. Let's go. Good. Hold those elbows spin up, keep them in just a little bit. There you go. Pressure through palm. They want scooping underneath just a little bit more. Good. All the way down. Shoulders down, drop them. Good, there you go. That's there, right there. Through, come on. A couple more, couple more. Up, through. Good, extend that, last one. There you go, down, nice. Done, sweet. How do it feel?
Heavy.
Yeah. Eileen's had a lot of shoulder pain in the past from gymnastics. So getting her to a place where we can move overhead has been, it's been good. She doesn't have any more pain going overhead, which is awesome. And a lot of that just came down to, I mean, getting stronger, external rotators. We did some rehab work, but just better positioning, right? Everyone always presses up through their shoulders. So getting a little more onto the lats here and dropping that shoulder down. If you need to slide the hips, helps clear that. And so we're not getting the same impingement. So a lot of it's just pressing mechanics to help her go overhead more comfortably. Cool. All right. Okay, lateral raise. Go and stand up here quick. My God, you are short. Okay, for shorties out there, you can't just always hop into the machine. Sometimes you need to adjust. And so for Eileen, we want to be more in this line of axis of rotation here. Obviously, she's well below that. So we need to find a pad or something here to throw underneath her feet to elevate her a little bit. So, you know, sometimes machines fit you because you're small. Sometimes they don't fit you because you're small. I'm gonna go find a pad. All right. Kind of stick step. And I want here light hands, okay? So I want you to,
Handle at the end.
yep. So I want you to lean forward a little bit here, kind of round over. Get light hands, okay? Now once you feel like you've gotten some light hands, a lot of people over tense here, right? Runs it in the elbow, et cetera. So light hands. Now posture up tall here, okay? Now just think about sweeping your knuckles towards me. Good. You like that? This is by far the best lateral raise standing one I've ever come across.
I really liked it.
Yeah, keep thinking out. Well, we're gonna have to get a new machine.
Wow.
2. Once you do like 10. Okay. So obviously Eileen's super short, if that wasn't clear. And on this one, so the axis of rotation up there, that red mark, you wanna line that right up to the middle of the shoulder. So for her, with the machine as high as it could go, she was already too short for it still. So just throwing something solid, obviously safety, especially when pregnant, is a huge priority. But so something solid like these jerk blocks here, we just threw that on top just to find that right height, and now she's lined perfectly with it. So, you know, don't be afraid to modify a machine. It will only lead to better outcomes for you during your sets. How's that feel? Okay, don't start to throw through traps. Think throwing low. Okay, throw low, let the hands just ride. Come on, babe, a few more. Don't rush your partials, you're just contracting. Okay, you got more, let's go, stay in it. Nice, another, out, not up. Okay, down, good, think out, not up, out, not up. There you go, 3 from here. Just drive out, good. Once you hit the sticking point, back down, 2. One more, light hands, good, down, nice. Nice. A lot of times that failure on a lateral raise, people like to tense their hands and throw up through their traps, you know, thinking it makes them more intense. Try to drop your shoulders down, keep your hands light, push your hands to the ground and throw low, just to keep a little bit more on the side of the shoulder. Cool. And yes, it is okay to train to failure in pregnancy, especially on something like shoulders, like a little bit less total output. She can obviously handle it. So when it comes to pregnancy training, it's all about just keeping things as productive as possible, adjusting where you need to adjust. So, you know, we're doing 3 full body workouts a week-ish right now, kind of like every other day as she feels okay. Adjusting the patterns, trying to keep as many movements in as possible. But ultimately, there's only a few that feel good. Just keep riding those. It's not for a super long period of time. And then obviously you have a period off after your pregnancy anyway, so you'll be able to rest and recover then. Cool. All right, let's get it.
Again?
All right. All right, we're gonna do face pulls here next, okay? Take a step back, obviously you got a little tension here, okay? What I want you to do is set into your lats. Pull it back, set into your lats, then push hands forward, and then think about pulling back and slightly out and together, okay? Obviously these handles aren't gonna pull together, so I don't want a lot of this. We're working kind of this back position here, okay? How's that feel? Good. It's almost like the handle's a little heavier than the load. This is feeling light enough, huh? Okay, 2 more. 1 more. Good job letting that rotate around without elevating down. Good. So with Irene, I mean, really anybody, obviously you need to train back. But with females, you don't want to put pressure on your midsection doing chest supported rows. So we need to find more unsupported variations and something like a face pull, which trains her upper back, because of obviously, just working those scapular retractors for shoulder health is still super important with the amount of sitting she does. So trying to find an exercise that can load that motion and be in the positions we need to be in for shoulder health and train that upper back are important, just a little limited. So face pull, I like the prime handle because we can adjust it to fit her shoulder width and have a little bit of divergence and a little bit of convergence, so we're not training too wide here or only narrow here with like a rope. Okay, so pull everything together here. Oh, see, you started to stretch. Pull everything back. Retract here, pull your elbows, like bend your elbows. Like get everything back. Okay, now set into your lats a little bit more, drop your shoulders. Now we can extend your elbow behind your body. Like pull it back, pull your elbow, there we go. Now down, okay, set. Now this is where you let off from. So now let it come forward a little bit. There, now pull back. Boom. So now you're already locked into your rear delts because of how we started. Because if we get too much more forward, come forward too far. See how we start to elevate here and then you gotta pull down? Not the goal of what I'm trying to accomplish here, okay? So pull everything back. Okay, get into it. Now get into your lats. Now everything's set in the position. Now we can just focus on coming forward a little bit. Let them wrap slightly. Now pull back. Boom. Good. 3. Good. 2. 1 more. A lot of times, people have a hard time setting into their back and their lats. Watch out. You got something behind you there. Yep. Oh, you're good. They have a hard time getting their back and lats getting set. So if you're trying to set up and you have a hard time feeling it back there, getting into position, so a lot of times you try to set from this stretch position, which is harder to generate and get to the right positions here. So what I recommend is getting back into your end range, locking into, especially your lats, really regardless of the motion, adjusting your elbow position from where you want, set your torso tall, and then letting out from there. You'll feel like that muscle grab just a little bit better versus trying to be super stretched and roll and never quite get into the right position. So we got 1 more set on upper back face pulls here, and then we're gonna move into some abductions and swing squat just to get some work in for the lower body. She can only really handle like usually 4 to 6 exercises at this point. So like I said earlier, saving legs for last, where she has energy to kind of leave it all out there and then be done. So in pregnancy, it's important that we're not overstressing this inner thigh with a stretch, because the hormone relaxin basically creates a more lax pelvic area. So doing like a lot of wide stance stuff for adductor work, we have risk of issues and injury. So I still do like to keep in an active abduction exercise to train the external rotators and the abductors of the hip. But now, because she's basically working just through her end range, there's a lot less risk of injury here. So, it's just finding motions that, based on the current state of pregnancy you're in, feel good and are respectful to the, hormonal changes going on is important. Okay, we're good? Okay, so I want you to posture up here a little bit more. Big light feet, okay? All one unit, hip, knee, ankle, swing out. Good, yep. There, go, good. Four, 4, 4. Contract, good. 3, nice, way to own the end range. Let's go. 2, 2, 2. One more, one more, one more, one more. Down, nice, down, sweet. Good, rest. The abductor machine can be used for a couple different purposes based on how you execute the rep. In Eileen's case here, we're trying to strengthen and grow the outer glutes. So I want her to try to stay as tall as possible and open up through the hip. So we're training more of those abductors, which work a little bit better when our hip is more extended. Now, obviously it's not perfect because she's still seated, but it's an intent thing. Now, earlier in some of my other videos, if I have someone lean forward and posture up here a little bit more, we're gonna work a little more of the piriformis, which I like when I'm training someone or prepping them for a squat day, because it's replicating more of a squat type motion with a little bit more upright torso, not so much extension in the hip. So just based on what you're trying to accomplish, set the machine up and execute it as such. And on something like the Strive machine, if we're trying to prep for a squat day, I might set it more in the shortened range because we're trying to work and create contractions out here. Whereas with Eileen trying to grow her glutes, we're more in that mid to lengthened range to help to create more tension in that lengthened position. Okay, let's do it. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so find a comfortable stance width here. Lower, 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 lower. Yep. Okay.
I feel like I'm going on a ride.
Yep. Okay, try it. Now pop off here. Okay, just drop down. Now think about just breaking your knees up to the ceiling. Push them up. Okay? Pressure here. Chest is tall. Break knees up. You'll be okay. I got you, babe. Yes, you can. Look at that. Up. Now push. How's that feel? Good, right? Yeah. She was worried it wouldn't feel good. It always feels good. Good job keeping pressure through your foot here. Okay, fine. Good job not going too low. Stop just before that lower leg wants to collapse back, right there. Good, rack, okay?
Is that okay?
Yep,
That
that looks great. How'd that feel?
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you're trying to find a squat or leg press variation that works in pregnancy, there's a lot of things to consider. You really just need to find something that feels good, that doesn't jam your knees or anything into your stomach. We also don't want a super wide stance because then we put some risk of that relaxin hormone causing some issues on the inner thighs and pelvic area. So with Eileen, it's just kind of like whatever she feels good doing. She's been able to squat pretty well through pregnancy with a moderate wide stance. I definitely don't want her doing anything sumo, anything too narrow. She's gonna get blocked. So something like this swing squat's pretty good. She's also not riding on her stomach. Like if you do a lying leg press, we have issues because maybe there's a little bit of, the blood isn't returning to the mother's heart the same way it should be. So try to keep something a little more upright if possible. I like this one, she can kind of sit down into it. There's no weight collapsing down on her either, which could be uncomfortable for some pregnant females. Okay, here we go. Chest up, feet in, break knees up. Slide into it. There, good. There, good. That's perfect, babe. Good, nice. Pressure, go. Yep, hey, give me two. Two, 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 good. One more, one more. Go, rack, nice, good. As far as intensity is concerned, we're not trying to absolutely brutalize her. It's really gonna be day-to-day based on how she feels, and throughout the pregnancy, this is probably gonna be one of the more inconsistent things based on how she's feeling, because there's just so much work being done by the entire body on like a leg motion like this. So for Eileen, I'm just kind of watching for some visual cues of a lot of straining in her face, you know, her verbal cues. If I start to see technique go, I'm usually cutting it at that point or slightly before at this stage of pregnancy. And at the bottom of the range, trying to be really careful about pushing her through too many bad reps down there, just because, like I said, everything's a little bit looser, and that's where she's most vulnerable. So if you need to, just adjust your range of motion if that allows for a little bit greater intensity consistently. Oh. Good. Good job. All right, y'all, so that was a jacked and lean full body workout at what, 36 weeks?
Yep.
36 weeks of pregnancy. So a few quick reminders. Number one, if you're training, make sure you're not overstretching your pelvis. If you're deep in pregnancy especially, don't be doing a lot of stuff where you're lying on your back, okay, and lots of hard, like intense holds and contractions, and then nothing chest supported or where the stomach is in contact with the pad. Other than that, just train what feels good with the intensity that feels pretty good. Try to maintain as many exercises and movements as possible in your routine. So other than that, it's Jack Tinley out. What's up, babe?
Thank you.